Good morning, this is Jeff Lane from the Mount Washington Avalanche Center. I'm standing in the floor of Tuckerman Ravine. It's March 3rd, Tuesday morning. Nice clear, calm conditions. I thought I'd just give you a quick video tour of the ravine after yesterday's weather event and before tonight's weather event. Just a little bit of history last night. From mid-afternoon through about midnight, winds were raging west-northwest, gusting pretty regularly into the 90s. A couple of gusts up over 100 up on the summit. During this time, we got about 3 to 4 inches of new snow that was being blown around. So starting over here in Lobster Claw, the very tip top got scoured out. A lot of the textured surface that I'm seeing up there is the exact same stuff that I was seeing up there several days ago. As you come down towards the fork, there's a little bit more loading, and it's fairly normal with strong winds to push the snow a little farther down into the ravine and create slabs that are slightly lower than they would be if the winds were a lighter speed. If you move over towards Right Gully, it's a similar thing. Up near the top is pretty scoured out. Seeing a lot of old textured surface that was there earlier in the week or over the weekend. As you come kind of down towards the mouth, it looks like there's a lot of new snow that's been blown in there. It's an area that, it definitely gets wind loaded. I haven't seen many avalanches there through the years, but it certainly has the right features. It's about 37 degrees in the mouth, steepness. It gets wind loaded. It definitely gets layered, so it's worth paying attention to up in there. As you get over towards the sluice, there's a little bit more wind loading. It's a lot more sheltered from the strong winds. Same with the lip area. So up at the very top of the lip, it looks like there may be a crown line going from the top of the waterfall up across the hiking trail and up to the looker's right. And possibly some other stuff really high up in the sluice. And looking at the debris that's down on the floor, I suspect that the lip and the sluice did avalanche sometime yesterday, probably in the afternoon, evening hours. But then since then, winds were able to move some more snow in there. So what we've got right now is a highly textured surface, recent wind loading on top of an old bed surface. Overall, coverage-wise, it's looking pretty good. The floor of the ravine still needs a lot more work to fill in before springtime really sets in. But if you ask me, I'd rather have the snow up on the slopes than down in the floor. In an ideal world, we'd have both, but beggars can't be choosers here. So kind of looking across towards the center bowl, head wall area, you might see a crown line on the left-hand side. This is another fairly common feature when we have strong winds. From the chute down underneath the center bowl, that kind of looker's left side of the head wall area, that tends to get some hard slab developed in there, and we see a lot of crown lines in there somewhat regularly. Once you get over in towards the chute, you'll see a little bit of that crown line kind of down below the narrow section. And if you can make it out in this video, it's right in the middle of a slough pile. This is a feature that we deal with quite a bit here, where we have really steep terrain and the wind's blowing the snow down, and as it starts to transition into slightly lower angle terrain, the sloughing kind of piles up and you get these fan-shaped piles. And those can actually still be in steep enough terrain to avalanche, obviously, and they build up into a slab that is, it's got a pretty hefty load on it based on the amount of snow that's there. So it's not at all uncommon for us to see crown lines in these slough piles. This can happen not only in the chute area, but it frequently happens at the base of ice bulges over in Huntington, down at the bottom of the ice in the center bowl here, or really anywhere that snow is able to slough off and kind of pile up, but still be on steep terrain. Looking over more towards Left Gully, if you look down near the bottom, you'll see a lot of raised old footprints. That's from scouring that's happened. Those are obviously they're old footprints, and it's a lot of old avalanche debris that's creating that texture. And just working your way up into the gully itself, it's really wind hammered. Up near the top is incredibly textured and scoured out. A lot of just wind eroded features in there. So that's a good indicator of stability. It doesn't really indicate good skiing in there, but it would be good stability. I really have no doubt at all about that. I guess just another feature to go back over towards the top part of the chute, you can kind of make out above the narrows, about halfway between the narrow section and the horizon, there's a remnant of an old crown line. And you see that kind of stuff, and that should indicate that it's just a little bit of history for you. If you understand when that avalanche happened, you can kind of get a sense of what's happened since then, and the fact that it's still slightly visible gives you an idea of how much new snow might be in there. So in the chute, the problem areas that I would see would be the hang fire from the narrows down to the crown line. And as you climb up through the narrows, if you started out climbing up on the right-hand shoulder,